Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Huda Tonight. Of course, on the last segment of Huda Tonight, we speak about different issues, interesting issues. So thank you for staying tuned. I know it's a bit late over there in the UAE, in the Gulf, and the KSA, I believe. So thank you for staying with us. I'm joined by a soft skills trainer, a professional development trainer, a business skills trainer. He's going to teach us a couple of things about effective teamwork. Of course, teamwork is a very important tool and task, not just for athletes, but for adults in the work world and students in universities. Teamwork is very important. I'm joined by Brother Mahmoud Nounou. Thank you, brother, for being with me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So perhaps we could speak about definitions first, effective teamwork. Somebody might say, look, I'm developing my career. I've graduated from college. I've taken this training, that training. I'm working on my master's degree. I'm trying to promote myself to earn a high position in the work world. So what's this teamwork? I'm looking out to build my own career.
Yeah, I see. Okay, so you're speaking about it for
individual perspective.
Individual, okay. So for someone who just graduated and who doesn't know what is team or...
Yes, exactly. I've just graduated. Hey, I'm ready to hit the workforce. What about this teamwork? I don't care.
Okay, so let's say that the only background that they do have as they just graduated and they don't have maybe work experience. So
right.
Yeah, so maybe the only teamwork experience they know is in team of footballs, basketballs.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's relate it more to games and their...
Which is important also, by the way, but we'll talk about that later, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely we will, yeah. So, maybe through internships, if someone who was undergrad and
right.
they went through internships, so they might have passed with the experience of teamwork.
But can an individual, a fresh graduate out of the university, expect to succeed in the professional world without being a team player? Can I expect, hey, I don't want to be a team player, I'm looking out for myself?
So, do you mean that would I be successful?
Yeah, for example, I just graduated from college. I'm looking for a good position. I don't want to build a team. I don't want to work well with others. I do my work well. Is this the right attitude?
Yeah. Okay.
I do find
that's definitely not the right attitude. Okay. Some tasks really need to be done individually.
Yeah.
But when you put them all together, you come up with a team.
Okay, certainly.
So yeah, we have different skills. But we have a common goal.
Okay.
So
And I think actually, the viewers might not know, but Huda TV is actually a good example of teamwork. People perhaps don't understand how big of a project this is, and it does take a full team. SubhanAllah. But let's define team. What do we mean by teamwork?
Okay, so let's say first the word team itself.
Yeah.
Some scientists they say together.
Yeah.
I mean like an acronym.
Yeah.
Together, everyone achieves more.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Together, everyone achieves more. There's no I in team.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So they call it. I mean, that's the acronym that defines that each one really has his own role, but we all together come up with a common goal.
Certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's speak about why is teamwork important? Why is it important?
Okay. So you might not feel like yourself. I mean, you might not feel appreciated if you're not working in a team. Like, yes, their self-motivation does exist.
Yeah.
However, I mean, when it comes from the outside, it's even better.
Yeah.
When you advise and when you get advice from people, when you listen, when you actively listen, when you come, that makes you a better communicator. You're not living by your own. I mean, you cannot be isolated.
Yeah, because to sustain a high level of self-motivation is difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's, sometimes you face hard time, and on the other side, when somebody else faces the hard time, I mean, you yourself, you go and you push him and you motivate that person.
Support each other. I mean, perhaps we can even say, this is even from a religious perspective as Muslims, we can even say teamwork is perhaps part of our religion, because I believe Islam is a community.
Exactly. Well, I have today a very important point about teamwork in Islam, because I'm very happy that you brought this point. Let me just say. So, what was the first team on earth? So it was Adam. How?
Yeah.
Well, Hawa was made for Adam as a wife. So Adam and Hawa, they form a family.
Yeah.
So that. We cannot live isolated. Like, we weren't created to live isolated.
Yes.
So I consider that this is the first formation for a team on earth.
Right. Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah. So family is a team.
Yeah.
Yes,
marriage
definitely.
is a team. It takes mutual effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And in fact, even this program, because if you're here by yourself, I'm here by myself. Because some people think they get on TV, they want to be on TV a lot. And I realize, I tell people, hey, you guys, there's enough room for everyone to speak because you support each other.
Yeah,
so that's important to remember.
Yeah.
And perhaps the guest makes the program better, or enriches it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the host as well.
And there's a very important point that you just raised, that you're not only you and me in this channel.
Right.
Like we're different styles.
Yeah.
Different
roles.
Benefit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But let's talk about teamwork. Let's talk about leadership. Who is qualified to become a leader? What responsibilities does he have? What rights do his subordinates have on him, and vice versa? I mean, I think this is a big topic because, in the professional world, we're all looking to become leaders, and in our field. So speak about leadership.
Okay, let me start with a very interesting story about Sayyidina Muhammad. Yeah. So when he was with his companions at once, they needed to eat. I mean, it was time for food. So they started, Sayyidina Muhammad, he started to ask people to prepare. And they said, we can get this sheep to slaughter. So the first person from the companions said, well, let me slaughter. I will start with slaughtering the sheep. The second one started to say, okay, I will skin it out.
Right.
The third person said, I will cook it.
Right.
Then here comes the turn of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He started to say, I will bring the wood for fire.
Right.
So the companions started to, oh, no, you're not doing so.
Right.
We are doing this.
Right.
Okay, no, I don't want to feel privileged. I understand that you can do this for me, but Allah doesn't like the people who are in one team and they have one in the team who is remarkable or more.
Right.
Yeah,
as if he's more prestigious, where he's not. He wouldn't lower himself.
And
to
he
do
went.
Sort of,
yeah,
right.
and actually he went and he got the wood to set it on fire. So that okay. So after I said so, like let's get someone who doesn't know anything about this story or Islam. Would he be able to know who was the leader? It sounded more of a normal conversation between.
Right. A truly team effort. Without
like team members actually.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. You don't really know.
Yeah, sure. That's a great point.
Exactly.
And we touched on being humble as well, as being part of a team, as being humble.
So let's say that's the first thing that any leader needs to have.
Thank you, brother. Do you feel like the youth are missing out on this concept of teamwork? I mean, I was fortunate enough, I grew up playing basketball, so I understood no matter how good of a basketball player you are as an individual, you need your teammates and they need you. So playing sports, not to belittle, it does help you understand this concept of teamwork. But do you believe today the youth understand the importance of teamwork and working well with others?
Okay, so let me can I relate it a little bit about maybe the educational system? I'm not speaking specifically about Egypt, but I mean
in general.
Any place really needs to plant the idea of leadership skills and the idea of how are you important as part of any team. So I think they are not really aware of it until you become part of it.
Yeah, once you hit the real world, then you learn the hard way, I suppose.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly, yeah. I have a very interesting story that tell us how do we learn about teamwork and leadership in nature.
Brother Mahmoud, I want to check out this report, and then I want you to share the story with us after the report, inshallah.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
sure.
You guys at home, stay tuned for more Huda tonight. We're talking about teamwork and building an effective team. Take a look at this report and stay tuned.
Two weeks ago, I did a 20-year reunion trip. I rafted the Colorado River, 227 miles through the Grand Canyon. Did it 20 years ago with a group of 36 other speakers. Think about that. Spent over a week on the Colorado River with a group of speakers. If we ever do the trip again, we will take a raft of audience just so we got somebody to listen to us. Now, this group knows that speakers are, for the most part, type A personalities. They are very competitive. And every few days, we would come to a waterfalls on the side of the river, and we would have a little competition to see who could first penetrate the waterfalls. And we came to, towards the end of the trip, Deer Creek Falls, the largest, most violent waterfalls on the Colorado River, 110 feet high. And for about 30 minutes, a group of us knocked ourselves silly trying to get in, trying to penetrate behind the falls where there'd be a space big enough for one or two or a small group of people to stay in. Nobody could do it. And finally, the professional river guide spoke up. He said, look, as far as I know, nobody's ever made it in. Matter of fact, last trip we got 6 big people to join arms. They tried to walk in a line. They couldn't do it. And somebody on our trip said, hey, what would happen? I don't even remember who, but they said, what would happen if we formed a circle and we locked elbows? You know, maybe the protection and the strength of an unbroken circle, we could penetrate the falls. I remember this very vividly because I was one of the 6. And on my right, I locked elbows with a speaker from North Carolina named Al Walker. At the time, Al weighed over 400 pounds. On my left, I locked elbows with a guy from Kansas City named Ed Grief. Ed was 6'3" and 1/2 inches tall. Learned an interesting lesson that day on the Colorado River about commitment. And that is, when you have locked elbows with people who are bigger than you are committed. And the reason I tell you this is because the closer we got to the waterfalls, the dumber this idea seemed to me. The water was getting deeper. It was getting more violent. It seemed to be getting colder. When we finally stopped, we couldn't go any further. We were directly underneath Deer Creek Falls. Water is coming down on my head like an avalanche. It's bubbling up underneath my nose. I'm ready to leave, but Ed and Al have a death grip on my elbows. And I know it sounds weird, but I began to debate that age-old question. How long can the human body go without air? And what's even stranger is I recall thinking, and if I should suffer brain damage, how will my friends and relatives be able to tell? See, I hadn't breathed for a very long time. Suddenly I could feel the circle start to weaken. All of a sudden, 5 of the 6 of us are ejected. We're spit back out in front of the waterfall. So we do a quick head count, and now we assume we have killed a member of our trip. We figure they are drowned, they are in the water floating. We are searching frantically when the 6th person, one of the kids actually, came busting out of the falls, waving his hands over his head, yelling, I did it! I did it! I was in. And when he calmed down, he explained, when we could not go any further, as a group of 6, he looked over his shoulder, saw a space just big enough for one. He released. He pushed off the group, became, as far as we know, the first person to ever fully penetrate Deer Creek Falls. I came up through competitive athletics, competitive academics, competitive business, and I wish today I could say, that was me. It wasn't. But I tell the story for the simple reason that I got just as big a thrill out of being part of the team who put him there as if I had done it myself. And see, what I learned that day in ice cold water up to my nose is that competition is a wonderful thing. I believe in competition. I started speaking in 4-H competition. I was a member of the first Toastmasters International Collegiate Chapter at The Ohio State University in the late 70s. I was a charter member. I believe in competition. But what I learned that day on the river is even more important. Competition is a wonderful thing, but you always accomplish more cooperating with people than you do competing against them.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that report. I know I did. I believe, brother, I think it was a wonderful report. Really, a little bit of comedy there, but he really tied it together well at the end, really highlighting and emphasizing the importance of teamwork, and that it's better to cooperate than to be at odds with each other. In any event, before the report, brother, you had wanted to share a story. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the birds story. Okay, that's a question for the audience. Did you ever think why we have some specific kinds of birds flies in a V shape? So, I mean, the V shape that we have, did you ever think about it? So,
you mean the group of birds flying?
The group of birds, they usually have the V shape.
When they go long
when they travel,
migration,
exactly. Exactly, migration. So why did they do that? So there was, they kept trying to understand and monitor their...
And there we have it on the screen now. The viewers can see
exactly
these migratory birds in this kind of V pattern. Go ahead. So why do they do that?
And they have someone in front, so that might be a good clue here. So that's a leader.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
That's a leader, that's a leader. So after they have done many accurate scientific researches, they found out that this group of birds, they fly that way because each bird in front, it gives power to the one in the back, and so on.
Right.
So it flies and I mean the performance really gets up to 70% effective. I mean it's
Right,
even more
right.
better
Yeah.
when they do it in groups.
Yeah.
So there was a reason behind that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They strengthen each other. So and they rotate.
Yeah, exactly,
subhanAllah.
exactly. So their performance goes up to 71%, and if the leader felt at any point tired, it gets herself back, and then another one from the team comes.
Yeah.
I mean in
Yeah,
front
they
to
they
lead the
rotate.
team. Yeah,
Yeah.
to lead the team. So they rotate when they feel tired.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a team effort. And let's say that one of the team, which normally happens in any place on Earth, like not all of the team members are equal. So it does happen that you have this one or two team members who feel sick, who cannot do the job really well. Maybe they are just starting.
Right.
So my example here on the birds is that if any of, because they fly really long distances, so if any of the birds felt sick, what would happen? Another bird will stay with her until any of the two things happen. Well, the sick bird dies, or it gets better, and then they start flying again.
Yeah, subhanAllah, it's amazing.
So yeah, so can you imagine?
Teamwork in nature even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So getting back, I mean, before any of the humans existed,
Yeah.
well, teamwork does exist
Yeah.
before we even exist.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful example. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I want to speak about now teamwork with us, and we have another wonderful picture here. More birds
Yeah.
flying in the evening sky there in this migratory V pattern. It's
Mhm.
amazing,
Yeah.
brother. I would like to mention, thank you for sharing this example with us. Mutual communication,
Mm-hmm.
understanding one another
Yeah.
with regards to teamwork. I believe this is a really this is
Yeah.
challenging. This is the soft skills,
Mm-hmm.
communication skills.
Yeah.
In a team, because people get offended easily. There's a lot of misunderstandings that go on across cultures or even within the same
Feelings
culture.
get hurt.
Yeah, so
and
how can we avoid this? How can we do this?
Yeah, okay. So understanding each other. Thank you very much for bringing
Thanks.
this up. Well, first of all, we forget to listen. We really forget to listen actively. People needs to listen to understand, not to prepare for a reply. So
Yeah, right.
yeah. Now, when you're listening to me, let's
Yeah.
say that we are in a debate now.
Yeah.
So what Mahmoud will do towards Malik, he will keep preparing for a reply,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to download what you said.
Yeah.
Not-
That's what happens in media, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, okay, he's talking now. I have to remember what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say. Or I'm going to hit him with this one. I'm going to get him this. So yes, we're not listening. In fact, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing the words come out of your
yeah, I understand why you use this word.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
tell the audience what's the difference between hear and listen.
Right,
So
right.
here is like here in the studio, if any of the sounds happened,
Right.
we would hear because we do have the ability to hear.
Yeah.
But listen, I have full attention to listen.
Yeah, I'm comprehending what you're saying. I'm
Exactly.
thinking about what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is important. This is one skill, listening.
Listening,
what
actively listen, yes.
Right, and what about perhaps some other soft skills with communication? What are some other soft skills that
Okay, sometimes people lose focus. How? So now me and you, we're one team. So we have an issue. So sometimes Mahmoud or Malik, they forget that they are working on an issue, and they leave the issue, not discuss the issue anymore, and they keep discussing persons. So you know it was you. It's you know it was you.
Yeah,
And you
right,
forgot
right.
totally that you're speaking
The
about
goal.
the issue,
Yeah.
not to discuss persons or personalities.
Yeah, certainly. I believe this is a big problem, especially in developing countries where, in fact, the goal of the organization is not met merely because the people within the organization are more focused on what you're saying now. You know, this person made this mistake. You're wrong. I'm right. This is a big problem.
Yeah.
How can we convince the viewers at home that working together, cooperating with other people is success, as opposed to trying to do everything by yourself, which eventually leads to failure because you cannot spread yourself so thin with so many responsibilities.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, we need to try. I mean, everything comes from inside. Like there was this great example about the egg. So, if you knock on the egg from outside and you break it, the soul inside will die. But if the soul inside has started to break the egg from inside,
Right.
it wouldn't die.
Right.
So my point here is, you need to look to issues through different eyes. Like most of misunderstanding happens because people keep looking at each and every single thing through your own eyes. You don't look at it through different perspectives. maybe some people, they don't consider feelings. They don't consider hidden agendas that might exist.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
But what about people, obviously this is a problem I believe, being oversensitive with regards to interpersonal communication. For example, hey, we're in a working environment, someone gave me a criticism. It's important for me as a human being to remember, hey, he's not personally criticizing me as Malik, it's just my work, this is our work. Don't take everything so personal.
Yeah, so you won't say that supposedly someone is criticizing a skill or something that needs to be. Okay, so let me say first, some people, I mean, those people, I know that they are oversensitive, but my point is, maybe the one who is providing you with the feedback is not using the correct verb, the correct words. Like, would it be better to tell you that you have really negative points, or would it be better to tell you, well, I understand that you have some points that needs to be improved.
Yes, sure. Some wisdom.
So, yeah.
Use some wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. So, first of all, I spoke about the one who is providing the feedback. Now, let's go for the one who is receiving the feedback. You have to understand that this is happening now because we are in a workplace. Like, let's apply it in a workplace example. Because if I said family, I understand that. I mean, we wouldn't doubt it. It's a father or mother relationship. With, so let's keep it in the workplace. So my point here, you understand that this is feedback is for your sake. I mean, it depends on how it's being said, I understand. But people needs to be well trained, and I mean, by experience and days, I mean, teach people.
You have to receive it with some maturity. And
exactly.
It takes some courage and some honesty, you know, to receive feedback.
Maybe sometimes people are not bold enough. How? Like, if I get hurt from what's happening, so after the meeting, why don't you go and you visit your manager or your leader and you tell them, oh, okay, so why you spoke to me that way? Okay, I don't understand. Why are you upset? Why? Okay, so sometimes misunderstanding happens because people don't ask.
Yeah.
They don't question what's happening.
Right. I think also sometimes our ego plays into it. So, for example, after the show, I might ask somebody, how was the show? And they say, hey, you know, it was great. I said, just tell me the truth. What was good about it? What wasn't good about it? Because we have to have some maturity here and take feedback in order to improve ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Brother, what about the people at home? Perhaps they own a small business or they're looking to get into business and they need to build an effective team. What are some key indicators or some key points that you can share with them to help them build an effective team?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Okay, so before we start, that's at the very beginning, at early stage when you form a team. Okay, you need to understand the skills you need in your team. Yeah. You need to make sure that people are different, because if you put people that they work together on one thing, that's not going to be interesting at all. Yeah. We need to set ground rules. Yeah. Himself or herself, that one who wants to start a business, really needs to be a role model. Yeah. Yeah, like, don't tell me things you don't apply. Right. For example,
organizational culture in a corporation. If the management is perceived to be unorganized or unfocused or not committed to the stated goals or mission of the corporation, then of course this culture of dishonesty will run through with the whole organization.
Yeah, it will affect all of them, definitely. Because, okay, so let's say every day I meet you and then you keep telling me you have to be here on time, you have to be here on time. Right. And then you show up one hour late or something. So I wouldn't apply, because I myself, when I see you saying this, you're not believing in it because you're not applying it.
Certainly.
So I believe that first you start being a role model.
Certainly.
You start, okay, sometimes people get motivated when you tell them how hard was your steps to get to this. I mean, how are you successful now, and what was the passes you went through?
Yes, yeah. Also, I sometimes people fear, look, I don't want to work hard and not take the credit for myself. For example, if I'm working with a team and I work really hard, but my teammate's not working that hard, this is a problem also. I've seen this happen in my personal life.
We usually say, we work in a team and it doesn't matter who gets the credit.
Right.
Yeah. When you came up with this, let me show the audience an example. So we have a bottle. So we're going to show it now on the screen.
Okay, inshallah, the brothers will get it up. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a bottle, and we have two persons. I need to ask the audience a small question. Do you know which one is the manager and which one is the team member?
There we go. Okay. Yeah. So we have a bottle there.
Yeah.
We can see on the screen. There's a man inside the bottle and a man outside the bottle pulling the cork out.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one is the manager? I don't know.
So that's the point. Now, when you raise this point, I getting back to the point now, is that a crisis? Yes. So the man inside is trying to push, and the man outside is trying to pull it out.
Right. To reach a common goal.
To reach the common goal.
Right.
Okay, now we cannot define who is the manager and who is the team
And
member.
this is how it should be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, now, when we both look at it, it doesn't show who is the leader and who is the team member. Now, when it comes to a crisis, anybody comes from outside, they will need to question who is the leader because it wouldn't show.
Okay, right. So
that's a good role model.
Yeah. But this is the ideal, but this isn't the reality, isn't it? Is it? This is not the reality.
It isn't?
It is not the reality, is it? In most corporations. In fact, in most business professional settings, we definitely know who the manager is and who the subordinate is. And perhaps this is the cause of their failure, isn't it? Because of this culture.
So let's assume that really, I mean, as you said, not all of them, they are following this. So if this is happening, those people who are starting or they're on their own business, they need to understand that they will have really a high percentage of turnover. People are not going to be happy to follow people who are not doing what they're saying.
Certainly.
Yeah. They will face hard time.
Yeah.
They will not. Okay. Now, I'm someone who is starting now because you are building a team. So usually what happens...
No problem, I'm sorry. We should give you a glass of water. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Usually what happens is that you get people who are really young or fresh grads.
Yeah.
So they need to find a career path.
Yeah.
You are not going to make them feel safe about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would reflect on them. I mean,
yeah, of course.
Or definitely it will reflect.
Of course. I mean, lack of experience. This is their first experience getting into the
that's
world.
my advice for those who are not following this. Those points you were speaking about, like if this is not really happening in real life, so at a point they will lose.
Eventually, they will lose in productivity, and in many ways, in short-term, long-term profits, in productivity of their employees, of working environment. I think all this plays an effect.
That's a very interesting point. I'm very sorry for interruption.
No, go ahead.
I mean, the environment.
Yeah.
I mean, who takes care of the environment is the leadership team.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the people doesn't like each other and you don't build and you work on having harmony between the team members, you're not going to be successful.
I would venture to say right now, if the management does not live up to the stated goals, this venture would fail because no way the employee will work harder than the man. If he or she sees the management is not living up to its stated goals and expectations, then certainly they will not. You know, I can say here at Huda TV, it's probably been the only experience in my life that we come from different backgrounds and do different work. But overall, I would say the majority of us here, you know, we really put the team in front of us. Yeah. We really put the channel in front. And I think that's part of its success. Over the years, we've had different people come and go, but the channel continues to work because of these topics. So, brother, we're almost out of time.
Okay, so one last thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just wrap this up. I want first to start with a quote by Michael Jordan.
Yeah, great.
He's a very famous basketball player. He said that talent wins games.
Yeah.
However, teamwork and intelligence wins championships.
And you know what's funny that he said that? I didn't know he said that because people never remember the guys he played with.
Yeah.
Even Scottie Pippen and Steve Kerr and John Paxson. I remember those teams. They were great. People always forget how great his team were. I believe, thank you for mentioning this, brother.
Yeah.
People always forget how good his teammates were.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a very important point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one last point here. If we spoke about Michael Jordan, if we spoke about
Kobe Bryant, for example. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, you need some water.
We need, I mean, all of them, they had this recognition and appreciation for the presence of their team members.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. Because, of course, when we speak about Michael Jordan, for example, perhaps in modern history, he's probably the greatest guard to play basketball in modern history. People argue between him and Kobe Bryant, but in any event, like you said, he didn't get there by himself. And in fact, people forget that he in high school, he wasn't that good of a basketball player, not good enough in his coach's eyes. So I believe that's important, that teamwork makes championships and success.
Exactly.
Well, but you're a young man. How old are you?
Okay.
Because I want to let you know, because how long did it take for you in your personal life to realize that teamwork is important? Because I'm 31, almost 32, and I realized this, just more recently in life. I mean, I did have some experience playing basketball. I understood the value of teamwork, but I didn't really it takes some life experience and maturity
Yeah,
to
it's,
really
it's all
understand.
about, because I started working since I was in the second year in college.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I graduated, I had 3 years experience of work already. So I mean that because even my college, it wasn't it wasn't my specialization area. So I didn't give that much care for my college as much as I gave for the
experience.
For the professional life.
Yeah, and how important was that in developing your understanding of teamwork? Perhaps if a fresh graduate who doesn't have any sort of work experience, compared to someone like yourself who had 3 years of internships and work experience, there's a big difference between them, isn't it?
Okay, so I mean,
for someone like you who has 3 years of experience at the point of graduation,
before you start working,
yeah, right. So you already had 3 years of experience. So, I mean, this really changed your perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it didn't actually. I mean, it was hard. I mean, there was. My family kept pushing. I mean, yes, they gave me that space. Yes, if you want to work, but you need to take care of your study.
Yeah.
Let me also tell you that we really don't have this culture of working since you are undergrad. I mean, work comes after you graduate.
Right. That's the idea here in the Middle East, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you start, okay, so maybe we will have those internships or summer training programs, or
But you won't work as an undergraduate.
Really, it does change. I mean, I was suffering at that time, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
certainly.
Yeah, work, and I have work tomorrow, and I'm doing this for myself. Like I kept doing this, and some of your friends, they keep saying, "What is he doing?"
Right.
Okay, I was working, and I was studying while working, and sometimes I only take 2 days off before the final exam.
Right, yeah.
It was hard, but I mean, I know how it was valuable.
Yes.
Yeah, now, not there.
Hey,
no, back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a hard time, but I appreciate this now.
Yeah, of course. I mean, let's talk about perceived failures. Perhaps as a fresh graduate, you didn't get the job, or you got fired from your job, or you quit your job. And we look at this as a failure. We believe it. But how can we turn our failures into successes?
Yeah, okay. So I can share a very small story about myself. I mean, maybe that story would, I hope it would.
We have about a minute left if you can wrap it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I was, I mean, simply I was applying to a scholarship in the United States.
Okay.
And then the embassy invited me for an interview.
Great.
All right, so how would you feel about it? Yeah, great.
Excited.
So it's a great step.
Yeah.
Then after that, I was sent an email with rejection.
Okay.
We're very proud of your application. I do even remember the email since 4 years. We're very proud of your application, and I mean, we hope you can apply next year. And it really took a long time. Then after 2 weeks, I was sent another email. Mahmoud, would you please fill in the last or the final application?
Really?
Yeah. So between those 2 weeks, the embassy kept sending invitations for cultural events. Normally, people wouldn't be happy to go. I went.
Okay, right.
And I joined those sessions. I'm sure it has nothing to do with them. But I mean, I didn't feel sad about it.
Right.
Now, after that, I learned the lesson. I mean, it was my mom who told me. So she said, I'm not really happy that you got accepted now. I was happy because you didn't get upset when you were rejected.
Yeah, great.
So I feel that's a point. I mean, I got rejected in many places.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, and I got accepted in many after.
Yeah.
So interviews keep improving you.
Yeah.
I mean, go. I mean, you wouldn't lose anything.
You won't lose anything.
Exactly. I went for an interview, so the next time is better. The next time is better.
Certainly.
Oh, I need to work on this. I need to learn from this.
Yeah.
So
thank you, brother. That was a wonderful point. Thank you for your time. I certainly hope to have you on future programs, inshallah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're out of time.
Yeah. I wish we have more time.
Inshallah in the future. Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Thank you very much for having me today.
It's my pleasure. My honor.
Thank you.
And you guys at home, thank you for watching Huda tonight. We certainly appreciate you letting us into your living room once again. We look forward to seeing you next time, inshallah. Until then, we leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.